I just posted a video about are you too Christian to be a prepper? So I had a short, and then are you too Christian to be a prepper continued, where I go into it a little bit more in depth. I just realized I kind of left something out that I'll just add as a short, that it could be kind of standalone. Sorry, something cramming up my leg. So what I want to kind of talk about a wee bit is that when I'm having these conversations, what's really interesting is people don't really ask why. So occasionally they'll ask like what, but I find this across the board in so many things where people will, to a certain degree, make an accusation or assume my mindset or my motivation. That's the worst one, to be quite honest, is people assume your motivation, but they never ask like why. Like, why are you trying to do this? Why did you just do that? What's behind it, and give you at least an opportunity to present your philosophy or your mindset of what you're trying to do here. They just sort of like ask a basic question like, what is this? You kind of tell them, and then immediately they go into judgment. So being an Irishman, growing up in Belfast, Irish people, one of the things I really liked about the Irish is that they're very naturally inquisitive, to the point where they kind of make you feel special. Because they just want to ask you a lot of questions. So some people will say, like, we're talkers. You're not going to get an argument from me on that. Yeah, we're talkers, but we also are, honestly, we're actually pretty good listeners. So, and I'd like to say that Irish people know how to ask some good questions. And as a Christian, that should be something that we develop. It should be a skill that we develop, is learning how to ask good questions. And if the right questions. Not just blabbing anything out like some of my brethren across the pond, but just learning how to ask the right questions. So, like children ask why all the time. It's just, they've got this super brain thing going on, right? Where they're trying to learn, their brain's developing, and they're figuring out who they are, but they're also figuring out how the world works. They're figuring out who you are, and they ask a ton of questions. It'd be kind of crazy if we could just go back to being like kids in so many ways, where we could just ask people why and not be offended by the answer. And if you're one of those people getting asked why, not being offended by why someone is asking you why. That's the area that I live in, the Pacific Northwest. I can't ask a certain demographic of people why. They get super offended. Super offended. Be kind of cool if we could just ask each other, why do you believe in this? Why are you doing what you do?